So this is year one at Jemison. Is that
Yeah,
right?
year one. Year one. I got
Where
here in January.
January. Where were you before that?
I was at Morenci High School. It's in Arizona. Um, and then the previous it's a story behind that. And then the previous 2 years I was in Alabama. I was assistant at Maplesville High School, and then I was an assistant at Chilton County High School the year before that. And
Okay, so
then
yeah.
yeah,
No, go
and then
ahead.
bef- and then before coming back home, because this is home from for me. I went to Maplesville High School. I graduated from Maplesville. Before I came back to Alabama, I was um, I was coaching 10 years in Arizona, in Tucson, Arizona, and I was a head coach at a school for 7 years
Wow.
um, previously before I got came back home.
Wow. How did you
Yes, sir.
find your way to Arizona?
Well, I went out. I walked on to the University of Arizona football team, and it was Mike. I don't know if you remember Mike Stoops. It was his first
Yeah.
year. Um, he wasn't real particular of walk-ons, so he cut every walk-on. So I transferred back to Hunterdon College, and I finished up at Hunterdon. And I really loved Arizona. I really loved it a lot. So I moved back out there after I got my degree at Huntington and pretty much just started my career.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
What's the biggest difference in Arizona and Alabama?
Uh, you know what? Been coaching out there. See, I've coached against some guys. I don't know if you remember Jake Miller, but he ended up being like a quarterback at Florida. Um,
Uh,
he was just, he was like third string, and then I got a chance to coach against Spencer Rattler.
yeah.
Um, Bijan Robinson is from Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah.
So the talent, when you talk about talent, to me, the talent is the same. It's just less schools in the state
Mm,
of Arizona because most of the
yeah.
state is desert and
Yeah.
mountains. And
Yeah.
and the hype too. I think it's less hyped up in
Yeah.
Arizona than it is in Alabama. But I tell everybody, so I coached at a two-way school, but when I got there, we had close to 400 kids. Like most of the schools are pretty big. You got the big schools in Phoenix, like Chandler and Hamilton.
Yeah.
They're just 3 blocks away, and they both have 3,000 kids in it. So, um, I feel like the hype. Everybody, the community, this whole state in Alabama, they're into high school football. Whereas in Arizona, it's just really parents and the players that are playing that are really getting excited about it.
Right.
Yeah.
What about differences like I've never actually been to Arizona, funny enough, but
Yeah.
just the aside from the football, like the day-to-day life, like there are things to do here, there are things to do there. Like what are you doing on time off in Arizona?
Yeah. Well, in Arizona and certain parts now, the state is really big. So there's places like Flagstaff, you'll see Four Seasons up in Flagstaff. But in Tucson, Southern Arizona, you're only going to see one season. You may see a winter once every four
Yeah.
years.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's sunny 300 days out of the year. And like one thing I like to do, I like to go to the park on Sunday. Well, it's always club softball, club baseball going on every single every single week. Like you can't even dodge it. So it it's not only difference is that the weather really.
Right.
People were real cordial to me. I mean, I had no family out there. I just took a shot in the dark. Um, just really loved it when I was in college there. Um, Made some great friends that I'm still close to with to this day. So um, I really loved it. And, the only reason I came home was because of family. My mother is getting a little older. My dad passed away a couple of years ago. So I'm glad I did come home. I got a chance to spend out the rest of his life. So, um, but yeah, it's considered home to me also.
Yeah.
Yes,
So how did this Jemison job come about for you? How did you find out about it and ultimately take the job?
well, I've you know, growing up in Chilton County, like when I was growing up, Jemison was, I don't want to say a powerhouse, but they were always
Yeah.
competitive, super competitive. And whenever I heard that this job was available, I just did. I'm not saying that anybody called me or anything. I saw it available and I was like, man, this will get me closer to home,
Yeah.
and I can hopefully I can go to Jemison and actually be able to do the same things that I was doing in Arizona. Um, so, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and make it like it's a super story how I got there. I
Yeah.
just did what every other coach did when looking for jobs. I
So
sent in my cover letter, resume. When I got a chance to sit down with the principal, I explained to her, my philosophy and what I plan to do at Jemison High School.
what do you plan to do at Jemison High School?
Man, to me, building a football team is all about creating some type of identity. Um, I want to get there and I want people to be able to turn on the tape and say that this is Jemison without even knowing the two teams. I strongly believe in that. I don't think you should dabble in trying to be like somebody else. I'm a hands-on guy, blue-collar guy, always been that way. Um, it's no secret. I love to run the ball. I think great teams, that's what they do well. They
Yeah.
know how to block every front, and they run the ball whenever anybody else, everybody else in the stadium know that they're going to run the ball.
Yeah.
So that's just the type of identity that I want to bring to Jemison. And at the same time, I think it affects everything else. I think it affects your defense, makes your defense a little bit tougher because they're the one that have to see it every day. Other teams in the state, they're only seeing it once a year. So, and that's the same things that I did when I was in Arizona. The school that I went to, they were only winning one or two games a year. In my fourth year as head coach, we were sitting in a championship game, playing for the state title. So, um, not saying that it had a lot to do with me, but I think it had a lot to do with us sticking to our plan and not wavering and creating an identity and just rinse and repeat every year.
Yeah.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you see like kind of comparing to that school in Arizona that, was winning one or two games and you build and build, and you keep stacking the bricks and everything and you make it to a playoffs, to the championships, to that kind of thing. Do you see Jemison somewhat similarly? Like I was looking, they haven't had a above 500 year since 2013. And they've had some tough seasons in recent years. Do you kind of see coming in there somewhat similarly?
I mean, I would like to hope so. I think that's kind of a reason of why this job doesn't scare me. I was able to do those same types of things, um, and again, we're going to take it day by day. Like right now, I'm still trying to install an offense. We're still trying to install a defense, but I just feel like you know, these, what I know is that I know these players, they've been beat down for so long, especially the seniors on the team. They never had a winning season. So I'm not, the last thing I'm going to come in is to try to beat them down more. You know, my thing is I'm going to try to come in, try to build them up and let them know, like, we can do this. Like, but it takes everybody on the same page. It even takes the community on the same page.
Yes.
But I seen it done before, and that's the only thing that's keeping keeping my spirits high, if that makes any sense. I mean, same type of deal, man. When I first got to that school in Arizona, we were everybody's homecoming, and it was bad. Like, I literally wanted to quit. I wanted to quit. It was my first head coaching job, and just couldn't understand why, we all couldn't get on the same page. But as the years passed, I realized it was a process. Things aren't going to change overnight. I don't care how bad you want it, but you should still want it that bad, So just being able to experience that has made me a better coach, I believe, in my eyes. And hopefully, I can come to Jemison and kind of help restore that spirit they once had before, when it came to their football teams.
Yeah. How's it going so far? Being there for spring, and then I guess around now a little bit, the weight room type stuff and whatnot this summer. How's that going?
Yeah, well, one story I told people when I first got here, that's when I went to Arizona, that school that I was at, man, it was really hard to get them to buy into the weight room. It's really hard to get them. I think my first year I saw 8 or 9 guys the whole summer, and majority of them was freshmen and sophomores. So it was really tough. Well, fast forward, I get to Jemison. I've already experienced all this, so I'm ready. I'm already ready in my head. I'm like, okay, this is probably gonna be the same thing. I'm gonna walk in the first day of workouts. I'm only gonna see like 10 guys. But man, when I walked in the first day of workout, it was like 30 to 40 guys just standing there staring at me. So since then, like, the effort and the determination has been there. Like, I've asked many people since I've been there. I was like, man, how did these boys only win one game? Like, I don't understand it. Maybe, I know we're playing 5A ball. I know 5A ball isn't any slouches in 5A. So, but at the same time, just seeing them work up to this point, like, weight room numbers are going up every day. 40 number, our time when we're timing our sprints, numbers are going down. Man, I'm really excited to see how we're gonna do once the season starts.
Yeah. So was the buy-in then fairly immediate after you got there? Then it seems like.
I don't want to say 100%, but
sure,
I didn't have any kickback from anybody. I think kids are kids, man. Like, whenever, I mean, if I meet a stranger to this day and he's trying to sell me a dream, I'm gonna question it somewhat. Like, what is this dude talking about? But like I said, it's just building, great things usually are compounded, man. Like, relationships get stronger day by day. Teams get stronger day by day. And that's how I'm gonna go in. And the same, I love working with teenagers. I mean, I was a knuckleheaded teenager myself at one point, and you had to stay on me. And I wasn't a bad child growing up, but you had to stay on me like all the time. So I get it. Like I get it. So I mean, I'm gonna come in every day renewed, refreshed, looking at it as an opportunity to get better every day. And wherever that takes us, again, I'm only sticking to one plan, you know. So wherever that takes us, um, I'll feel confident at the end of the day.
Yeah. No, I love
Yes, sir.
that. I love
Yes,
that.
sir.
Let's talk about the schedule first, then we'll talk about some of the roster and some of the guys. So I'm looking over here. It looks like, now correct me if any of these are wrong or have changed or any of that, but we'll just start non-region since
Yes, sir.
y'all are in 5A Region 3.
Yes, sir.
So non-region, it looks like y'all open up at St. Clair County. That's over here near me.
Yes.
Uh, at Chilton County on August 30th. And then next non-region is at Sylacauga, September 27th. Get to go see Coach Smelly over there.
Yes, sir.
And wrapping up the season on November 1st, hosting Hale County.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
What do you make of that non-region schedule?
I mean, I look at it, I see some when I look at it, I see some great coaches there.
Yeah.
T Rob at St. Clair. Man, I mean, it's almost like full circle because I used to go to Huntington every summer just to talk to the coaches. Because I think Huntington it's a gym,
Yeah.
honestly. There's been some great coaches come out of that college. There's been some great players that came out that are now great coaches. And I don't think Coach Turk gets a lot of credit in the state, or unless he does, but there should be more talk about guys that are under his tutelage. But T Rob got to, be around Coach Turk, and I know he's gonna have his guys ready. So I don't even care what St. Clair record has been in the past.
Right.
Come at that game, like man, we better be ready. Game one. And then when you look at Sylacauga, like you said, Smelly, man, like dude's a winner. I remember playing against him at ACA when we were in high school, but he was just a little kid then, but he was on the sideline, so I didn't get to experience him that much. But yeah, I know those two guys, man, they're gonna have their teams ready.
Yeah,
and we're better be ready. If we're on the field with them at the same time. So
I don't know really anything about Hale County, but Chilton County's new coach, Eddie Wall, I know him pretty well
yes,
from his time coaching at Clay Chalkville and then being the DC over at Leeds.
yes,
he's been right there under Jerry Hood for forever. Played for him at Oak Mountain, and then he's coached with him at Clay Chalkville and at Leeds. So was excited to see him get his first head coaching job too. So that'll be a fun one on August 30th. So let's talk about region then. So y'all are in 5A Region 3. I'm going to run down this list just alphabetically. So Demopolis, tough.
Yes, sir.
You guys, Montevallo, Northside, Selma, Shelby County, and Sipsey Valley.
Yes, sir.
Man, there's some geographical spread in that, is there not?
Oh yeah. It's like almost Shelby County, and then you got to go to Tuscaloosa. So or I mean, Demopolis even more east of Tuscaloosa. I mean west. Right. I'm sorry. But it is what it is. I mean, I know a lot of people may not be used to it, but I mean, being in Arizona, man, our closest game was an hour away. So just because it's just a city and then a desert and then a city, and there may be a big mountain in between two cities. So, so I'm used to long bus rides. I mean, I can get on the cheese wagon and go places. So, but man, that region, like you said, you talk about DMOP, even Montevallo is kind of like a little rivalry for us, being so close together. I would say Shelby County also. I mean, Jemison usually plays Shelby, those two guys, two teams every year. So, man, I'm really excited um, about the region that we're in, and even the play D-Mob. I believe like to be the best, you gotta play the best,
Yeah.
and
Right.
D-Mop is traditional powerhouse. At least that's what I think when I hear the
Yeah.
word Demopolis.
Yep.
So, and I'm real excited about it, and we're gonna go into every game we play with the game plan to win the game. So
Yeah. Yeah. I was
it's
looking at, yeah, you weren't kidding about Demopolis. Like, I knew they were good, but like, I'm scrolling. Let's see. It looks like, now I'm doing this kind of on the fly and kind of fast, so I could be
yeah,
wrong, but it looks like their last season that they didn't have a winning season was 1994.
yeah, that's
That's
them.
incredible. That's incredible.
And everybody, I forget the highway that runs through Demopolis, but I think it goes through like Thomasville and Clark County and all that. Like, man, down it's some good schools out there.
Yeah.
Like, so, um, but yeah, it's 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 gonna be exciting, man. But
Yeah,
like I
it
said earlier,
is.
one game at a time, man. One
That's
game at a
right.
time. Yes,
That's
sir.
right. Let's talk about roster. I know it's hard. Even you've been on the job 6 months, but it can be still hard on the fly to remember 30, 40, 50 players. But who are some guys that are returning? Who are some guys that are standing out? That are that people will kind of recognize on Friday nights this fall.
Well, I'll start on the offensive side of the ball. I got two players. One is Chaz Melton. He's gonna be the running back this year. Played some running back some last year, and the other guy's gonna be quarterback Luke Gann, and both of them are returners. Both had some experience last year, but man, since I've gotten here, those two guys have picked up. Although what we're doing this year is completely different than what they're used to,
Yeah.
they picked up tremendously. Like I couldn't ask more of those two guys. And on the defensive side of the ball, I'm gonna name Damian Stafford, and he will be a junior this year, but he's about 6'5", 250. I'll say about 6'4", 250 defensive
Whoa.
lineman. Yeah, he's a weight room guy. Like you know it when you walk in there, and um, he's a tough kid. So I'm really interested to see what he do this year. And man, I'll have to and somebody I'll go back to the offensive side. Um, Garrett Wyatt is a lineman. He's a returner. I would say he's probably about 6 foot, close to 300. Can really move. What I was all when I got here was how well the linemen were moving, and I was, you know, places I've been, I've seen linemen like shy away from the weight room or the sprinting and all that, stuff, because usually you'll find a mid-sized kid that can lift a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And, and it's just mental to a big kid that, hey, I can't do all that but they don't
Right.
realize they got that extra weight. But man, like some of our hardest workers right now have been our linemen. And I'm
Wow.
I'm really excited about that. Really kind of finished up with the coaching staff probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. And man, since everybody's been here, man, practice have been going pretty smoothly. Guys are catching on a whole lot more quicker than I thought. And and on top of that, uh, players are happy, coaches are happy. Uh, so, man, I can't ask for more. at this point right now, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, those guys, I'm looking for those guys to really help us out this year and stand out for us this year.
Yeah. And so the Melton kid, you said he played a little bit of running back last year, or
Nah, he played. Only reason I say a little is because he did have some injuries. I want to say the Chilton County game, he went down the first play of the game last year, and he's by far one of the better players on the team. But you'll see him on both sides of the ball. He plays safety as well. But man, just tough kid, like always there. Yes, sir. No, sir. You know, and just, I mean, when you see him move, you're like, yeah, he has it in him for sure.
wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow. That makes it so much like easier on you too, like to have a guy like that's like a returning leader type guy that
Oh yeah.
kind of leads by example like that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he does. He may get on his teammates every now and then, but man, his work ethic really speaks for itself. So other guys just follow right behind.
That's awesome. And
Yes,
then
sir.
he'll be excited to run behind that line you were talking about, those offensive linemen getting after it, and
Yes,
they
sir.
can move quick on their feet and that kind of thing. Sounds like he's got a fun season ahead in store.
Oh yeah, that's what I expect from him. Yes, sir.
So what I've been asking every coach this, what are you looking forward to most this fall? Like, what's the one thing that really stands out to you?
Man, I'm just, like I said earlier, I'm looking forward to see what these, the excitement is there. I mean, I've really, since I've gotten here, I haven't heard anybody say anything bad. If they are, it's behind closed doors. Everybody that I'm seeing in the community, they're like, man, we're really excited for this season. The players are excited. Like I said earlier, I had coaches that's been coaching for years. And I had a coach come up to me like last week and he said, man, I haven't had this much fun in a while. And it's nothing, we're not doing anything special. You just, way I am as a coach, I let my coaches coach. I can't do everything.
Right.
So if I'm gonna get good people around me, I'm gonna let them do what they do best. And I've always been like that. I can't micromanage. I can't even micromanage myself. So and I believe in that too, because I mean, when I was an assistant coach before, and I wanted to contribute badly, so but like I said, expectations right now is just to put a good quality team out on the field. I can't promise any wins. All I can promise you is that we are working to win. That's all I can promise you, man. And I feel like as a coach, if that's not my goal, is to try to win a game, I should retire. So I'm not doing the kids any justice. So they deserve it. These seniors, they deserve to have a great season. I mean, they're hard workers. They're good kids. They deserve it, but at the same time, it's going to take some work. It's going to take some dedication and some commitment. It's going to take everybody on the same page, believing the same things, doing the same things. Those are the hard things. It's easy to get tired and work out. Like, that stuff is easy.
Yeah.
Like, I can get anybody tired, but the hard stuff is the stuff that we don't think about. Just coming together as a team and believing in your teammates. It's about, keep your personal accolades, on the shelf. Although, we do. You should want to you should want to succeed individually, like that's any. I would think
Yeah,
you would crazy. I would think you're crazy if you didn't. But
exactly.
but but we got to get to a point where we're looking at the big picture, and once we get there, man, I'm gonna be a happy camper. Yes, sir.
I hear you.
Yes, sir.
I'll get you out of here on this.
Yeah.
I knew I read a little bit about you being in Arizona. I wasn't quite
Yes,
sure
sir.
what all the local ties were, but obviously playing at Maplesville, being an assistant there at Chilton, coming back to Huntington, that kind of thing. But what stood out to you in these 6 or 7 months or so about Jemison, the community as a whole, like not just football, the school, the town. What do you really like about Jemison so far?
But that um they love Jemison, that they will support, ride or die with us, and um whatever we want to do. People around here just want to see us win. They haven't asked how we gonna do that or anything. They just, or I don't want to say win, but they just want to see a team that you can go watch on Friday nights and you can leave being,
Yep.
happy with the results. And it's a community like most communities. It is a community. I mean, it is 5A ball, but it still has that small town community feel,
Yeah,
which excites me a lot because I think that's a recipe for great things right there.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
we just got to press the right buttons, and you know, luck luck is involved in some things as well.
Sure,
I seen
sure.
some great coaches go to places and it not work out well. So um, I think a lot of things you got to timing. Had, well, I guess the science saying is timing is of an essence.
Right.
So, but man, all that being said, it excites me. Um, I know what I'm capable of. Um, so um, I never back down from a challenge a day in my life. So don't plan on doing it right now.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
That is awesome.
Yes, sir.
Well, man, I'm pumped now.
Yep.
I'm hey, like we cover so much. Like, I mean, I just freelance. Now I used to do this stuff full time, but I can't
Uh-huh.
let go. So I try to create this new stuff to do to keep covering the game. And most of what I cover every Friday night, I'm going to be at a 6A game or a 7A game. We've had a couple teams in our Birmingham area that we cover that have dropped back, or well, one has stayed 5, and then one dropped back down to 5. But like I'll cover 6A, I'll cover 7A because that's the teams we cover. And don't get me wrong, I love it. But I feel like my sweet spot is the 4A, 5A classifications. Like
Good.
I love because most of them I haven't covered, so I love learning about those communities as a whole, and then kind of learning what those traditions are and getting to know guys like you, coaches that I don't really talk to that regularly, that I'm used to talking to every week, kind of thing. And like last year, I can't remember the week. I can't remember if it was maybe the second round of the playoffs. Like I had a pick of like a handful of playoff games to go to, and I don't remember what all they were, but 6A, 7A games. I chose John Carroll at Fairview in
Oh,
5A. I was like, I've never been there. Haven't been to that community that's kind of near Coleman and all that, and I was like, I want to make that drive. I want to see the community. Like I left early, and I
yeah.
was like, I'm just gonna kind of take in the town, see what it's like, and then go see what the football is all about at Fairview. So I think I'm entering that part of my deal in all this, where I just like finding these communities and teams that I've never covered before and learning something new.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you, Coach, and
All right.
we wish you all the luck this fall. And I know I'll be following it. So good luck this year, and hopefully keep you guys healthy and have a successful first year at Jemison.
Yes, sir. Thank you.